I spent one whole year reading just one book about writing. And I told myself that at the end of reading this book, I would be able to complete my own story. Many of you know Story by Robert McKee. Very popular, very helpful. You can see I have all my notes here. Everything that I wanted to add into the story. Everything I wanted to add about my characters, the theme, all of it. I learned about philosophical conflict from this book. The mechanics to including the inciting incident into your story. Self-expression. All of that came from reading this one book. And after that whole year, you won't believe what I was able to do. I picked up another book. I literally did not write a single word. I didn't get onto my laptop and start even trying to type up my story. That was the end of it. I read the book and went on to another. And honestly, that's what you've been doing as well. You've been going to one YouTube video, on to the next. Reading one book, going on to the next. It's not like you don't have your story, but the issue is that you are building something that you actually have the ability to execute. The reality is you're building something that you've already built. I know that I found myself doing this a lot, where I may research how to build a four-corner opposition for writing, of course. But the reality is I've done that many times. I've already practiced it many times. So why is it that I'm still going to search up, how do I do this thing? You've been doing the exact same thing. You'll notice that you even do it for the simplest things. So you're researching how to create a climax for your story. And you know you have done that plenty of times. So what's really happening here? Why is it that you know how to do this skill, you know how to write, you know how to create, yet for some reason you find yourself continually going over the basics which you have already established? It's really not that you're a lazy person or that you don't like to create. You love to create. And actually, that's the reason that you are struggling so much. Have you ever heard of approach avoidance? To summarize it, basically the thing that you want and the thing that you fear are the same thing. So you are both pulled towards it while also pushed away from it. In this case, your story, your characters, everything that you want to make is something that you deeply want. You deeply want it to be seen in movies, want it to be seen on TV. You want people to buy your products, but at the same time, you're terrified if it doesn't work out the way that you intended. What if people say this story sucks? What if people say this art is horrible? Then obviously for you, as someone who created these things, are afraid that you might be judged, that it may turn out being horrible and that you wasted all these years on this one product. That's really what keeps you from putting the pen to paper. Because the closer you get to writing and actually finishing the story, the closer you get to possibly failing at everything. This is self-handicapping. When people anticipate being evaluated, whenever there's something at stake, they unconsciously create conditions that protect them from the result. So the condition for you and I is preparation, and more preparation. An unwritten story is always going to be brilliant, but if people can see it, if it goes up on TV, if it goes into the bookstore, it can be judged. And if it can be judged, it might be judged as bad writing. So it's really not laziness. It's just fear wearing a really convincing disguise. Here's what I did, and it really was not easy. I want to say that all I did was just write, but it's a little deeper than that. But to be honest, I did just right. Before you go back to your notepad and start preparing more of your story, let me tell you what I did. I put away YouTube, I put away the books, I put away all of the resources, and I started to use the resources that I already had. Now, what do I mean by that? So instead of using a book or going to a YouTube video that I probably watched countless times, I trust myself that I already have the knowledge, that I already know what I'm doing, and I go off of that. So I had a common issue where when I was actually structuring my story, I would go back to a certain book. Then I would go back to a YouTube video, a specific one that had helped me in the past. Then I would go back to my notes. At the end of that, turns out 2 hours have passed and I haven't written anything. So very plainly, anyone would think, okay, just remove the videos, remove the books and all of that. But the issue is that if you do that, then you get into a mentality of, I'm just gonna write it. Then you start getting anxious, you start getting afraid, you don't know what you're doing, and before you know it, you just throw the project in the trash. But this is where it has to shift. You have to understand that you are worthy and able to create the things that you want to create. Notice what I said there, worthy. Because a lot of times as a creative, you think that you're not on par with everyone else who's making stories. You're not on par with the other mangaka. You're not on par with the screenwriters. You're not on par with Walt Disney. You think all of these thoughts and you forget that you know some things that they don't know. I guarantee you, you'll be able to sit in a room and teach these very same people that you look up to just one thing about writing, one thing about art, one thing about creativity. So my writing didn't just get better. I didn't just write. Instead, I understood what I already was carrying. Orcas understand this. Yes, literally, killer whales understand this. You know what they do? The babies, when they're growing up, are taught by their grandmother and even some of the other mothers on how to hunt, how to communicate with their people. And the thing is, the hunting techniques that an orca learns are not instinct. It means that not all orcas use the same abilities to capture their prey. So you find some orcas in the north that may flip their prey upside down, while in the south, they may just circle around them and scream at them. That means that in different places around the world, orcas are learning different behaviors. And the biggest part is that it takes years for the orca to learn it. However, once the orca learns the techniques, he knows how to hunt. He doesn't have to keep going back to his mother and asking, what should I do? The seal is right in front of me. Oh, look, he's dead. Should I eat him? The orca doesn't have to do that because now he has watched for so long that he understands what to do. Now imagine this, an orca from the north goes down to the south and he sees that the orcas there are circling around their prey and they're screaming at it and trying to confuse it. The orca from the north then may say, oh look, they're using a new technique that I've never seen before. Therefore, I have to submit myself and learn how to actually do this before I can go hunt again. That orca is gonna starve before he ever does anything. Because the reality is he's already come to a point of maturity where he knows how to capture prey, but he's looking at what everyone else is doing and thinking that he needs to keep learning before he can actually execute his plans. You've been watching the pod long enough. The knowledge is already in you. It's time to hunt. Writing should always be fun. It doesn't have to be a stressful process. As you keep writing, your characters are going to grow. They're going to surprise you. They're going to do things that you did not expect. They're going to think things that you did not actually plan for. You can never have a strong story if you do not have strong characters. But in order for you to have strong characters, you must understand and know them. It's not a planning tool either. It's used for you to understand your characters as you are already writing. It's not so you can actually know what your story is about. It's so you can actually understand the characters that are in those stories on a deeper level. Your characters deserve a dedicated place where you can grow in understanding them. That's exactly why I created Narrativity. The link for the basic edition is out right now, and be on the lookout for the ones that are coming after that. If you're writing dramas, thrillers, psychologically deep stories, Narrativity is exactly what you need. Get your copy of Narrativity today. Before you close this video, don't close it out just yet. First, go to your notebook, go to your laptop, open up your story right now. If it's a blank piece of paper, open up a blank piece of paper and start writing right now. Let your creativity flow. Don't let it stop. Before you go, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and type in the comments, writing at this moment, so I know that you took action and you are already putting together your story. I'll see you soon.